Hey guys, welcome, welcome,
Hello.
welcome. How
Hello,
long has it been? Right.
hello.
It's like, how long has it been, Maria? Like,
Too
what?
long, but we're
Like,
here.
like too long. Yes,
Let
we're
me go
super
ahead and tag
excited.
everybody. Come on
Yes,
in.
come on in, come on in. So today we are talking about, yes, hiring your kids. This is a
Working with
really
your
great
kids.
segment because it's the holidays, and if you work with your children, how do you like, okay, this is what I do here at work with the kids, and then at dinner table we're not jumping across the table and arguing or things like that, because things happen. We're high functioning individuals. If our kids are anything like us, we got great energy, we got great ideas, and pretty much the advantages about hiring your kids. And then also we're going to talk about just, great ideas of how to keep that separate during the holidays.
And I'm gonna bring up some
So
of those disadvantages too, especially when you got them teenagers.
what? Not the teens, but a little bit about myself. My name is Michelle Lenore, and I am all concerts and grants. So it's all about the government. This is where you get your money. The government needs your products, they need your services. But even though that's what I do today, again, we're talking about hiring your kids, the experience that I had with hiring my children. And, of course, we want to hear about you guys' experiences. Put it in the comments. Maria I want to say, have hired all of her kids, and
All of them, even when they were babies.
even with their babies. So I will let you take it over.
Oh, but first, real quick, tell them your tagline about the millions.
Oh, yes. Reaching millions by reaching millions. So what does that mean? That means that while the way you reach your $1 million goal, dollar dollars, is by reaching a million plus people. And that's what I'm all about, is helping you reach your target, helping you to reach, as they say, like your avatar, your client, your customer. And that's what I'm all about. I can help you. Another name I have, what people say, revenue multiplier. Whatever you do, we can multiply that 3x it. So you winning out here in these streets.
Yeah. I love
Yep.
it. Reaching millions by reaching millions.
Yeah.
I love
Reaching.
that. And so, yes, as you guys, some of you already know, my name is Maria Vincent. It's right there on the screen. I am a wife, a mom of 4 beautiful kids, 2 of which are now adults and they are living out on their own. So, two of the little ones still here. And then I am the boss lady. I have multiple businesses, and my tagline is the 6-figure business whisperer.
Hmm.
So my goal is to help women that I work with reach their 6 figures with multiple streams of income.
I love that. I love that. So we're gonna start on the good note first. All right. So Maria, tell us the pros.
Oh,
Especially, I want you to talk about the financial part of the pros first. You say you even started your children off as babies. Why did you start them off so young, working within your business?
okay. And so let's clarify really quick, just so I wasn't having like my little baby sorting paper or any. My babies were not, when they were little, they were not doing any physical labor. How did I hire my kids as infants and toddlers and things like that? I used their pictures, and actually still do to this day, use their baby pictures as part of my advertisement. And so just like you have a child, oh, hello. Just like you have a child that does acting and modeling, and then that agency pays for that child to do that. Same thing. So if you have a business, whatever business you might have, especially if you have a business that involves kids. So like my prenatal care coordination program that I have in Milwaukee, I use them for all my advertising, and now they're like 10 and 12, but I still use their baby pictures because that business is about infants. And
Mhm.
so they can get paid and you decide how much you're going to pay them, they can still get paid for me using their pictures. And so you want to make sure that whenever you hire your kids, that you have paperwork of you hiring them, just like it's a real job.
Oh, yeah.
Want to make sure that the job description is very clear, because if you ever get audited, the government plays no games. And like if they say you hired your 2-month-old, how did that work? What does that look like? Or even a teenager as an office assistant, what did they do? How many hours did they work? How much did they get paid? So you want to have those things organized. And then also when you pay them, make sure you pay them from your business bank account. Have a business bank account. Don't be commingling, and send it to their bank account. So that's a way, or write a check, however you want to do that. But you just want to make sure that it's very clear that you are paying them. And then why do you do that? It's a tax deduction. So I don't know this year, because I didn't do taxes this year, how much you're allowed to pay your kids or dependents. And so I know that last year, I believe you can pay up to $10,500 without having to I want to. It's up to $10,500. It's some different rules that you have to abide by, and so that's $10,500 per child. That is now a tax write-off. So let me give an example, okay? And so many of you know that my daughter was in college. She actually took a gap year, but now she's actually re-enrolled. Yay! She's going to be a nurse. And so when she was in college, living on campus, she still helped me with paperwork. So I would have her like do billing. I would have her set up meetings. I would have her do like admin type work. And then, so what did I do? I actually sent her money, and she paid her college tuition from the money that I sent her. And then she also had money left over, right, for herself. And so now that became me paying her college tuition, became a tax write-off, instead of me just on my own paying college tuition, and I probably can't write that off, where now it's an easy write-off that I paid her so much money to do whatever she was going to do with it. But in our case, she paid her college tuition and gas and things like that. So that was a huge perk. I know that many women don't claim their businesses on their taxes because they be like, oh, I don't want the government in my business, or things like I heard a lot when I did taxes. I'm like, you're missing out on so many deductions. It's crazy, especially if you have kids. Every single one of those kids need to be doing something, even if it's sweeping the floor, even if it's washing and doing chores like the dishes and stuff like that. So instead of me getting a maid, I'm gonna just hire my kids to clean up. So yeah.
I love that. And a lot of people, they do miss out on that. If you're not sure, Maria, she has a book. What is your book called that really goes into a little bit more detail about that?
101 tips for the wife, the mom, the boss lady is one. And then I actually have a tax book, which I talk about hiring your kids in that one as well. And that one is called Tax 101 for the Boss Lady.
Yeah,
So
and both of those are on Amazon, right?
just
Oh, okay.
I had to think about, like, wait, no, just the 101 tips for the boss lady, or the wife, the mom, the boss lady is on Amazon, and then my tax is on my website.
Great, great. So with that, super, super excited about that. And the other thing that why we're hiring our kids, the pros for hiring our kids, is that we get a chance to know these individuals as they get grown and bigger and older, and then their personalities. And sometimes we find that our kids are not the best person that who should be doing a certain type of job description within our business. So that's really, really huge. But with that, we're learning our kids more so from a professional type level. And as they begin to grow and as they begin to move, guess what's happening? We can help to direct them into different like college curriculums, and then even jobs, because I have done that with my kids. All of my kids have helped me in some form within my business, which is really, really great. And I love look forward to the day that I can have like all four of them really being a part of the next thing that I have coming up. I already have it all written out. I got it. I got it. It's like I got it all written out. The other pro is again shared values. I would have to say a lot of this is that we've seen it. We've probably seen movies about it. Like, okay, when I retire, my son or my daughter is going to take over. Or a lot of it, the industry, I'll still call it industry, is the church. You see a lot of the pastor's children who come in and then they take over because guess what? They grew up with them. So they know the ins and the outs. They know the ups and the downs. Now, they may not know everything, of course, because when they take over that particular position, then it's a whole lot heavier. Things are like, oh my gosh, I have to do all of this. So again, it's that value, it's that trust. In my case, when it came to the finances, my daughter, she always took care of that. Some people, they have horror stories and stuff like that about having other people do stuff and then folks trying to take your money and things like that. So that's I know for me, one of another financial advantage that I had with having my kids as employees.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you said something that made me think about, you said when you find out that certain roles are not for them. And so I've been having business for years. So pretty much Cameron, he's 10. He's grown up watching me run a business or helping in some type of capacity. But so like I started Pretty Princess, which is my kid spa business. I want to say maybe 7-ish years ago, something like that. And so my girls, who are again now adults and out the home, they were teenagers and like young adults doing Pretty Princess. And so it was like, this is a family business. So as I go and we're doing kids' nails and feet and things like that, they were working with me. And then as Pretty Princess grew and we got our building, I wanted to have princesses, like Disney princesses. So like we had Belle, we had Tiana, which they wouldn't do Tiana, rightfully so, because we're lighter, we're not dark skinned. So they didn't want, they never wanted to do Princess Tiana. But they did, let's see, who else? Queen Poppy, so many different type of characters with Disney princesses, Elsa, Anna. I learned quickly, and I wish I would have learned quicker to hire people for that, but I wanted my girls to do it because like they're right here. Why not me pay them versus somebody else? They didn't have the oomph that was needed to be a Disney princess character. So when you see a Disney princess, let's think of like Disney World. You go in there, they're so over the top, like, oh my God, hi, like loving and oh, and my kids are not, they like, hey, type situation. So, and specifically my daughter Anaya, the 18-year-old, I'm not even gonna, yep, that one. And so she would be different princesses, but if she had an attitude, it was very clear she had an attitude. And so I learned that, you know what, this is just not her lane. So I had to go out and hire people who wanted to come and sing a song or be this extra energy or whatever, because she didn't want it. Even when she worked inside the spa, sometimes some of the other workers that I had, because I had all teenagers, they'd be scared to talk to her because she done came in here with an attitude. And so yeah, but because I feel like when she went out and worked with someone else, though, it wasn't mom's. Like, so they have this type of entitlement that this is mom's business. And I even remember one time she got into something with a girl from, they were cheerleaders, but rivalry schools. And it's like, Mom, you can't hire her because she was laughing at me. You need to fire her. That's kind of not how this works. Because
right.
my daughter and I own it does not mean that I'm gonna go and let somebody go because you don't get along with her because she go to a different school. And so that was, and I guess that's more one of the cons ish, where it's like you really have to find where they fit. And so when I did summer camp, she thrived, where it was more like she was working with the kids one-on-one. We were doing different activities. She loved that. So it's like, okay, maybe have her over here in this lane, not so much Disney princess person, or, and eventually it was like, it's probably best that at least you got these skills of working in a business with your mom, and maybe one day you'll want to open your own, but it's time for you to spread your wings and fly to another business where you can grow more, because you don't have that sense of entitlement. And it was like, I feel like now I'm starting to be a disadvantage to you because you think that you can do certain things, and that's not the case.
No, that's really good because you talked about dependency, and then you were even talking about issues that could occur with your relationship.
Our relationship,
You're
yeah.
right, and so, so that moves us into, all right, so, it's the holidays and we're all sitting around dinner time. And so this is funny. So we're sitting around dinner time and nobody wants to look like the bad guy, right? So usually, okay, I should say not usually, sometimes when I go to different family event, we're talking about the places where we work, right? So if we're working with our parent, or if our kids are working with our parents, or if we're as adults working with our parent, we can't blow that steam off, especially if we're talking with our siblings. Nobody wants to look like the bad guy. It's like the daughter doesn't want to look lazy, the son doesn't want to look overbearing, the father doesn't want to look like a hoverer, and the mother doesn't look like, want to look like that she doesn't care. So for me, like during these times, I just don't talk about it. It's like, hey, how's things working out, at the job? Like my one daughter would ask my other daughter, how's things are working. And I would always talk about the positives, always talk about the positives because they're siblings, right? So one sibling, because I've learned my lesson, one sibling, because it's like Maria, I have 4 children. 2 of them live with me, 2 of them don't. I have 2 of them. They're all in fact, they're in Texas. My 2 oldest are in Texas, right? And so even though they know that I love them, it's like the oldest sister will tell the youngest sister, like, yeah, mom told me this, so you really need to do X, Y, and D, X, Y, and Z, and stay on point and all this other type of stuff. She's like, really? So even having those type of conversations, not even at the dinner table, but just through regular conversation, I had to learn we don't have those conversations. We don't. We just don't have those conversations. And if I need to have the conversation, I have to talk with that child about the issues that I have to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I handle it.
Listen, it took me years to learn to set boundaries and perimeters around being mom and being boss, right? And especially when we got a building and I ended up bringing people on, it was easy for me. So like example would be when somebody else would call in, I don't have a choice. Like I can't say you can't call in. Like they called in because like either they were sick or something happened. Teenagers, they'll call in because they don't want to come, right? Yep. Working with teenagers is crazy. And so I can't say anything. But when my own kids tried to call in, no, what you mean you calling in? You're not sick. I see you. You right here. You know what I mean? Like, why are you, give me a reason why you're not going, because I need your help. I did not afford them the same luxury, or I just didn't allow them to do what the other teenagers were doing, because I made them more. I stepped in and became mom and boss at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it was hard to really draw that line, because even during the parties, it was like Robert would have to come in and step in sometimes and be like, you're talking to them as mom right now and not as boss. Or when we're at home, you're talking to them as boss right now and not as mom. And so I had to learn to really, and it took a while, even for them, because they always talk to me as mom. Because ain't no way you going to another job and you back talking your boss like you trying to back talk me and I told you to do something. Because if I tell the little girl over there to go empty out that bucket of water, she gonna go do it. But you go be like, no, because I gotta. Don't tell me no. Like, what you talking about? So we both had to, or the 2 older girls had to learn to really draw that line. And so when we would have meetings, we tried to have meetings somewhere else outside of the house.
That makes sense.
I also learned that I need to record these meetings. I start recording the meetings so I could be like, let me hold on. Remember what date was that? Let me rewind. Let me get to this. And here's proof. We said this and we said this. And so I would start to record the meetings. I started to have like meeting notes so that
That's good. Meeting
everybody was,
minutes. That's
yeah,
good.
so that everybody was in. And it never really dawned on me because these are my kids.
Right.
Versus when I have Infinity, which is the prenatal in Wisconsin, I did that with all meetings, but I'm working with grown-ups and other
Hmm.
people, not my kids. So I really had to learn to draw that line. First, do y'all know how many times I fired them kids? I don't know about you if that was
Everybody
like,
breathe.
you know
I
what, you
understand.
fired. And then like 2 weeks later, are you coming to work?
I look that part. You be like,
So
ooh.
I look, it's a learning. It's a lot of learning involved in separating the role of not wife, of mom and boss to your kids. Even though there are so many different benefits, sometimes so that you don't strain that relationship or damage that relationship, you might for a season not work with your kids and just be
Absolutely.
mom. And I had to do that with my older daughter. She was like, I don't want the boss mom relationship. I just want my mom. And I had to respect that. And I had to let her go do something else and just be her mom. Like it grows. And so, like now with Jordan, she's 12, she wants to do everything. But sometimes she didn't feel like going to work. And so I'm
Right.
like, I will not restart the cycle of that type of relationship with her. I learned from my mistakes. The last two are gonna be a little bit better.
No,
But
and most
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I learned a lot through just, it was trial and error. Nobody taught me how to be a wife, a mom, and a boss lady all at the same time. You know what I mean? Like that was hard.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's the personality. One of the things I just wrote an article on LinkedIn about leadership styles. And being a boss mom, that there's some flexibility there. You have to have the flexibility, or they call it situational type leadership, that there are some things that it has to be done. And when it's like done right now, it's not like, oh, I don't feel like doing it. Either you do it or you don't. Okay. It's like one of those things. And if you can't do it, then I'll get somebody else to do it. That's money lost. You want it to get this, whatever the next gadget is, or if you want more RAM on your computer so you can play this game, whatever it is, it's like you lost out on money. Don't complain to me about it because this was an opportunity. So I found myself with the different types of leadership when it comes to having those conversations with my children, when it was something that I needed immediately, that I would say, look at me, this is due on this date. We can't play any games. What are you doing right now? Like, what is happening right now? Before anything happens, because I want them to understand the importance. And I realized that when I did that, that was things that I would do in corporate America. You want to get people's not information. You want to get their input. Sometimes you can't get their input because when the EVP says this has to be done by this date, then you have to come a completely and totally different way so you can get it done. So it's beneficial for everybody, because usually when I would get deadlines like that, that means that people's bonuses was on the line. Do you want a bonus? Okay. So now we know, since money is on the line, forget about your job, because you still gonna have your job. Do you not want this bonus? And we're
Mhm.
not talking about $500 bonuses. We're talking about 5-figure bonuses. Do you want this bonus? Then let's get the job done, and then let's get the job done on time. And so that
Mhm.
was the way that again, that I work with my kids. And then also, if they didn't like a job, well, let's sit down. What job do you like? So you write the job out. So now you want to get paid $15 an hour. Write the job out that you want in my company, and let's see how it could fit. Okay, the job that you just wrote out, that's a $10 that's a $10 an hour job. That's not a $15 an hour job. So, being realistic with my kids, that and being open and upfront, I know that kept our relationship very positive. That we have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with my children. just being open and honest. You have some things here or there, but nothing just like knockout, drag out, none of that foolishness. Because if it's like that, then I won't lose the relationship with my kids,
Right.
With them working for me.
Right. And that's when, like, when Imani said, look, I just need my mom, say less. All right.
You be like,
No, like, I accept your resignation and I'm gonna just go back to be mom. And so, and it's funny when you were just saying how much you pay them an hour. Another thing that I learned in the beginning, them kids don't play about their money, right? And so I was not very organized in the beginning. And so when we were doing the parties, we used to do mobile parties. And so it was like they didn't get paid an hourly. It was like, okay, well, you'll get paid. And again, they were like 10 or like 12, like they were still young, right? And so it was like, okay, well, you get $5 for setup, $5 during the party, and then $5 for tear down. Right? Like that was the pay. So you got $15 for doing all of this for however many hours that it took. And so not being organized, they didn't have a concrete pay date. And so it was I got paid when I remember type situation. And they be like, man, Mom, where's my money? Like you still didn't pay me yet. And you still didn't pay me for that last party. And so that became like a thing where they lost trust in me actually doing what I said I was going to do as far as paying them, because it was like my kids. And it wasn't like it was employees that were set on this. I didn't do any of that. And again, with Infinity, they got paid same time every month. But with my kids, I just never connected the dots. And it just took me so long to do that. So I say now, when you hire your kids, don't play with their money. And so
don't play with
their money. And so even Jordan, I had her do a simple task of some office work. I just needed her to erase my dry erase board with all the different markers so that I could do the new quarter. And I was like, thank you, Jordan. I'm thinking she volunteering to do that. And she was like, okay, how much are you paying me to wipe my board? And so I learned too that once you start paying them for stuff, they very rarely now want to do anything for free.
Absolutely.
Like she's like $5 to wipe my dry erase board. Like, are you kidding me? I need more work done then. I need you to do some more for $5 because this just cleaning my dry erase board is not $5. So it has its pros and its cons. But I can say at the end of the day, I really did love working with my kids. With Imani, she wants to become a nurse or a doctor. She's still trying to figure it out, but she wants to have her own practice. Like whatever she does, she wants to have it her own and not necessarily work for somebody. Jordan created a whole company, I'm not gonna get a name out because I want anybody to steal it, but the trademark. But she got a whole brand coming out. So they do sit and they watch and they do learn. It don't always look like they're learning, but they are. And so they ingest it. And as they grow up and decide and learn what it is that what they want to do, because I also learned that I can't force them to want to have something that I want them to have. And so, of course, I want to pass Pretty Princess down to one of my kids. But at the end of the day, if they want to go do something different, I have to allow them that luxury to go do something different. As long as they learn how to own, I'm good with that.
No, you made a point, and when it was to the point of that, even though at some point in time, if they leave the company, if they leave your company, that they're thinking about things on their own. Like I would have to say that I would say my two youngest, a lot of times they're like, hey, Mom, have you thought about adding this to your business? Hey, Mom, have you thought about adding that to your business? Because in the beginning, when my late husband was living, I would, of course, I had worked with certifications and things like that. But it was just women. And so because he was in the Army, he was a vet, it was like, hey, why not go ahead and do it, do the VOSB? And I was like, oh, that's perfect.
You got to know what that is, because I know. But
okay, I'm sorry. You told me. I know, it's veteran-owned small business. So, so with that, one of the things that before he had passed, that we really looked at getting him this business. Again, you can get so many ideas, from the people who are close to you. And because they see how hard you're working, they see you, like right now, we're on this live, the streaming live. They'll hear something and they're like, hey, have you thought about this? They'll see us in the store. So they give us great ideas. And so don't sleep on the ideas that your kids give you.
Yeah.
Before you even say, no, you don't know how much that costs. You don't want them to be limited at their idea of the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you write it down, can it be done? Because they saw it, and then ask them to flesh it out for you. Like, okay, so you said it. So what does that look like?
Right.
And I absolutely love that. And then those are great dinner conversations. Well, how do you see me with that? And then that makes them feel included.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that their voices are being heard, that
Mm-hmm.
the words that's coming out of their mouth and the thoughts they have is of value. So all of that stuff is just like really, really important, that I love with my kids, watching what I do, going, being a part of the vendors tables. I already told them the upcoming event that we'll mention at the end of this, that I was like, oh yeah, both y'all gonna be at the vendor table. One gonna be here on Friday, another one gonna be on here on Saturday. They were like, what?
So just say yes, ma'am. That's it. Yes, ma'am. And actually, when you were talking about that, it reminded me really the difference in the two books, right? So the one book, 101 Tips for the Wife, the Mom, the Boss Lady, that one deals a lot with the relationship of you being a mom and the boss lady with your kids. And so having family meetings, making sure you set out time specifically for your kids, have a cutoff time. Just the other day, Jordan was like, she slipped me a little sticky note and was like, hey, do you want to do something? And so if I'm not like literally in a meeting or something that's time sensitive, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna come back to it later. But I'm gonna spend time with her because she wants to spend time with me. And so really that book is focused on the relationship of being a mom and being a boss lady, right? Whereas the tax book, which is Tax 101 for the boss lady, that one's dealing with, okay, now that I paid my kids and that's a tax write-off, what can we do with that money that's there? We can put that into whole life or term life insurance to where their money is building. So by the time that they're 21, it can start just compounding by itself. I can put it into a 401k. I can do all these different things that's beneficial for them on the business side. So the Tax 101 book is more business and like, facts on what you should do as you build generational wealth. So it really talks about generational wealth, whereas 101 Tips for the Wife, the Mom, the Boss Lady, that's dealing with the relationship. And so, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. That's supposed to have popped up yet.
I said, what is that? Yeah.
I know. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter. Like literally every child can be doing something. And so when we started Pretty Princess, that was a family business. And a lot of people, when they booked us, they always gave us like a 5-star review and like an extra tip because they love to see us working as a family. And when I say as a family, like even my husband was there. He was either taking pictures, he was helping with setup, because that was like the headache of doing mobile, the setup and the breakdown. But he was there, and like, Cam was helping. And then when we got the building, we had to think of a job role for Cameron in Pretty Princess. It's a girl business. What he go do? And so we created Cam's corner in the back for the little boys to go and do arcade. And so if there were brothers, he would just go to the back and play with the boys. Like that was his job. And then if they didn't have boys or they didn't book Cam's corner, he was in the front of the store where the merchandise was, being security. And so because we needed somebody to sit up front because we're all in the back doing the party, any of the parents can walk up to the front and take something, or somebody can walk in on the street and take something. So we needed somebody to sit up front, and then that became his job. And so we even made him a little shirt that said Pretty Princess Security. He took that serious, even though sometimes he'll be up there playing his game, but he was serious about being security. And so it was like he had a sense of pride. Another, just real quick, my son was never a morning person. It wasn't until summer that he started going to work with dad. And at that point, Robert was doing construction. So he would go to the work site super early. And so sometimes he would wake up before Robert, like, Dad, you ready? You ready to go to work? Because he was also getting money for this, right? And so, of course, Robert got content of him like doing different jobs, always safe.
Mhm.
We don't want no emails. It was always safe. Okay. It was safe. And so, yeah, right. And so a year after, like he did it for 2 years straight in the summertime, he worked. And now, like this little boy has no issue with getting up for school. Like he gets up before the entire house, and he'll be like, sometimes he'll be up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, dressed and ready, then ate his cereal and brushed his teeth. And like, so they also learn a level of responsibility and
Yes, they do.
accountability by working, even though it's so young. They're like, y'all don't want him to be a kid, and he loves it. This is what he wants to do. Like he wasn't working 8 hours a day nonstop with like, no, he probably worked maybe 2 hours, maybe. And then he also wearing the cut playing a video game or playing
That
outside
part.
with basketball. Like he still was able to have fun. It wasn't like this is your job, this is what you gotta do. So you have to allow leeway for them to still be kids and not just you got 8 hours to work, get it done. That wasn't it at all. But he found joy in going to work with dad. And then he found joy in coming to do something at Pretty Princess because he loves his money.
Yeah.
So now I don't have to go take you to Five Below and buy you the stuff. You have money now that you can buy the stuff for yourself. And it's technically a tax write off for me because I paid you and I get to write off that pay. But you're buying the toys that you want and I don't have to. So
See, all that's a win-win because it's called
win-win
currency.
situation. Yep.
It's called currency. We have to remember
Yep.
that it's called currency, and currency means that it's current, is always moving. And so, with that, having our children, using what they earn and then buy what they want or what they need. Again, this helps also within the household. This helps. You
Money stay
mentioned
in the house.
something concerning right, and also responsibility.
Yep.
My kids are the same way. They don't have issues about getting up like, oh, I don't want to go, unless they're really like not feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
Even like my youngest son, he wanted to go to work, but he works outside and he wanted to go. He's like, I don't want to miss this money. And I was like, all right, get up, walk from here to the bathroom to let me know how you feel. He was like, I feel terrible. So, I mean, believe it or not, that's a really great gift to have, that your kids are able, or our kids are able to get up and do the job, even though sometimes they don't want to do the job with us, that they'll do the job
Yes.
with other people and
Yep.
responsible. So I don't have to be concerned about my kids being out of work. I don't have to be concerned about they're not doing a good job, because I always said, always do a good job, and you will be rewarded.
Yep.
If not here, somebody else is watching you. Because I remember that my daughter, she was working at this one place, and I don't know how much she was getting paid. It was something small. One of the ladies saw her at work, one of the customers. She didn't do anything great for the lady. She was really kind. She was nice. The lady tipped her $20. I was like, what? Terry, well,
Yeah.
where this happened at? So again, we talk about our wealth and finances and stuff, that we don't know where it's coming from, but if we're working to the highest level that we can work at that time, that we will be rewarded. Our children will be rewarded. So if you haven't done it already, make sure you get, if you don't know how, make sure you get Maria's one or two or both of her books, most definitely, that talks about hiring your children. They're out there, Amazon or on her site. I had it going, guys. I had it going
Yeah.
on her website, mariavanzant.com. Take a look at her books. And on that note, I'm going to transition, not
I just want to
issue,
leave them with
transition.
something real quick. You can keep that up,
Okay.
but I want to leave them with something real quick. Like how smart we were with keeping money inside of our house, right? And so paying the kids to do different things. Also, I paid my husband a lot for doing different things as well. And so when we had to do the build out for Pretty Princess, and we had a 1 week turnaround, so we was up here demolishing the walls, laying floors, painting, sanding. He built a castle, like we was putting in the work. But because he did construction, I hired his construction business. Pretty Princess hired his construction business, and I paid him to do the work. He then got the money that I would have paid somebody else. He got the money, which the money stayed in our house, but it became a tax write-off, right? And then so what became another tax deduction for him is he then hired the kids and me to help him do the work. And so we were all literally long days and long nights at the spa, painting, like doing so many different things and getting the work done. And all that money that was spent outside of material for labor stayed in the house.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, how can you just be smart about having the tax write-off and also keeping your money?
No, that's really smart. That's really smart. And just to piggyback off of that again, with my daughter, within my business dealing with the government certifications and contracts, you need a notary. So one of the things is getting my daughter notarized. Okay. Instead of like, oh, go get a notary. Guess what? She becomes the e-notary. Everything is here. So it all works out. It all works out. Again, what can your kids do that you know they can do? Maybe they like to draw, so they can make your graphics for your postings or for your t-shirts or for your book or for your workbook, something like that you would have otherwise gotten. What is it? eWorks or Works? What is it?
Or Fiverr or something like that.
Fiverr and all of those.
Packaged, have them package your products, apply stickers, whatever it is.
Like
even
all of
it was doing billing. So I taught her how to do billing for a medical facility. She could possibly take that and go work in a healthcare center, like doing billing because she learned the skills working at my business.
Yeah. So don't snooze on them babies, y'all.
Yeah.
All right. So we are moving into so you'll see Maria and I a couple more times this year before the year is out. Yes, we've started this again. So most definitely, if you got questions, reach out to us.
Or topics you want us to talk about.
Right. Talk, because we talk in relationships. We can always talk about business. As y'all saw, we wove business all up in there, right? Not a problem.
About relationships.
Right. Always part of relationship as an entrepreneur. But if you are in the Atlanta area, or
will be in the Atlanta area,
or would just like to have a conversation with Maria or I, January 19th through the 20th, we are speaking. We are on a panel. And we are going to be speaking about just life and, of course, business again. Always life and business is such a mix. I get excited talking about it. I love helping people. I love having conversations with the women, with the men, with the children. I know during this event, it's just going to be absolutely phenomenal. But Maria is more on a lead with this particular event. So I'm going to let Maria close us out and talk about it.
Oh, yeah. So it's pretty much what you said. So it is the year of the leap. You guys know that next year is leap year. So we are working on our mindset for the leap year and knowing that, we can do more, we can be more, but sometimes first you got to work on your mind, the battle of the mind. And so that's the focus of this conference, is working on the battlefield of the mind. So definitely come out. There are, I think it's 3 or 4 speakers. There are VIP options. Of course, VIP is going to be off the charts. We have the general admission. Men and children are welcome.
Yes.
That's not out there yet, but men and children are welcome.
But if I'm correct, there isn't any babysitting or child.
No babysitting. No,
okay.
No. Okay. So if you have 3-year-olds, might not want to bring your 3-year-olds, or if you have a 10-year-old, bring a phone or something for entertainment. But yeah, it's gonna be an amazing event. I can't wait. Just 2024 for God's daughter is packed full of events. So even if you're not in the Atlanta area, we're going to have virtual events. And so the first virtual event will also be in January. I want to say the 8th and the 9th. We're doing, and in my group, I posted it. We're doing a virtual vision board extravaganza. And so starting the year off with goal planning. And so if you know me, you know that it's not just going to be, we're going to cast this vision of what you want to do and what you see, because all of that is amazing. And we're going to pray and we're going to confess and we're going to just have all this faith for what's going to happen. But we're also going to plan for it, because faith without works is dead. Meaning you have to put work in. You can't just pray for it and expect it to happen and you just sit back and get it. You have to put your work in, do what you can do, and let God do the rest, right? And so that's what we're going to be focusing on in the vision board party, building or visioning what we want to see for 2024, and then really breaking that down to what does that look like, quarterly tasks, monthly tasks, daily tasks, like what does that look like for you to make that happen?
I got started on mine. Maria already know we've been talking, and like one of the things, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is some of my stuff. I know it's very personal, right? So I have, yes, I have not, believe it or not, I have not flown first class yet. That's one of my things.
It's
Uh, I
coming.
want to, I want to fly on a private jet, and I'm going to do a whole lot of global traveling. So I know like this is like a huge sticky note that so it sticks. So it sticks. However you do it, it's going to be phenomenal. Again, like Maria said, it is that event is free. This one here is not. Maria,
Right.
please tell them
Ooh.
what they can do to get a discount.
Oh, okay.
A
I would say,
discount.
please don't tell them how much the price is. I don't
Oh no, no,
numbers
no.
don't remember. I don't remember numbers. Y'all know that. So yes, you can either use my name, Maria, or Michelle's name, Michelle, in a discount code, like not our whole name, just our first name, and only one. It's not like you can do both our names and get double. So use one of our names, and you will receive a 10% discount, because our name carries favor.
Yes.
Our name carries favor. So yeah, just by putting in our name in the code box, you will get 10% off, whether you choose to do VIP, which I strongly encourage, or
Yes.
general admission. And then also, if you're in college or you have college students, there's actually going to be, if it's not already, a college student ticket on there as well. However, if you choose the college student ticket, you will have to show your college ID. Like, it just is what it is. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Hey, Demetrius, he said good stuff. Look,
Yeah.
powering y'all names. Come on, bro. Right here, right here's my buddy. So Demetrius, I know we got the look. I got to catch up with him. He be busy, but I know he spent time with his lovely, lovely wife. Tell her happy birthday, gorgeous woman. And then hopefully he can come to Atlanta area. I don't know. His babies are kind of young. Just you and the wife. Go ahead, get a babysitter.
So if you are not in the area and you want to come and you're traveling, we do have different hotels that's in the area that we can give suggestions for as well. Because it's not at a hotel; it's actually at a venue.
Yeah. So this is so very exciting, guys. Again, we always want you to start off the year, right, with being empowered. This is a time of empowerment. Maria and I and the other two young ladies who are on this flyer and all the other ladies who are speaking is all about empowerment, is all about going to the next level. So most definitely check the event out. With the VIP, you get a chance to have a conversation with us and with the other speakers. Go on the website, look on the website, see you like, oh my gosh, I know who that person is. Like, I want to connect with them so we can have a conversation. It's all about going to the next level. It is the year of the leap. This is an opportunity for us to grow. Okay, it's time for us to grow. We cannot stay stagnant. We cannot stay in the same place. Because one of the things I know now, some people, they either love them or they hate them. It don't matter. He used to be a mentor, Grant Cardone. One of the things that he said that stuck with me was if you're not moving forward, then you're actually moving backwards. Okay.
That's good.
Some people like, what is that? How does that even make? Because technology is moving like this. How many notifications have you gotten from your Verizon provider saying like the new phone is coming out, this is coming out? Technology is moving so fast. Things are moving so fast. So if you're not moving forward, you are moving backwards.
Yep. That's good.
Yeah. So
This was so great. I am so glad to be back, guys. I love talking about this. One, I do love talking about business, but after this last season that I just had, I love talking about relationships and how to make sure that your relationships are good. It's not always just about money, money, money. You can get the money, but if you get the money and lose relationships, like that's not okay. And so you have to find the balance of boss lady relationships, whether
yep.
that's husband, wife, mom, sister, cousin, friends, all of it. There has to be a balance. It cannot just be about money, 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 money. You'll get there and be lonely.
I know that's right. So, all right, guys, we will see you next week. Let us know again, what you like to hear us talk about concerning relationships and business. We're all about it. And you guys just have a super great week. Bye.